It's just called Two Brothers. I'm Kuro Mankuro, and this is
Conrad Hilton.
all right. So we're gonna talk this week about Suicide Squad. First off, I'm gonna tell you, I don't actually hate this movie. I don't think it's great either, but we're gonna talk about the finer points of that anyway. So first of all, what was your impression of the movie coming into it?
Well, I was kind of afraid going into the movie that it would be bad like BVS,
Uh-huh.
but I was actually a little bit surprised.
It's bad in a different way.
Yeah, it's bad in a different way.
Yeah.
It's not a grimdark superhero movie. It's actually a slightly lighthearted villain movie.
Which is kind of weird because Batman and Superman, ugh, everything's so terrible, fuck the world. And then now the Joker shows up and he's like, I'm going to murder everybody, but everybody's going to be happy.
Yeah.
For the 7 minutes I'm on screen, at least.
And he's laughing the whole time, too, so at least he's having fun.
Yes, at least somebody did.
Yeah.
All right, and I wanted to talk about a few of the things that irked me about the movie or something that just made me think. Like, let's talk about Deadshot for a minute.
Okay.
So I know that his character loves his daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and I was thinking, is that Willa Smith the entire movie? I was like, that looks too young to be her, but he seems to only take movies where he could possibly get his kid a role, and maybe they turned him down.
It almost feels like Will Smith at one point on set said, hey, can we make this a son instead of a daughter? And oh, I got the perfect actor in mind, too.
Yeah, that great son of a robot right there.
That uber robot child.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He seems like a random tweet generator on Twitter. I think he does it better than the tweet robots, actually.
Yeah, he really does, but if you check the people that he follows, he only follows, like, new age spiritual leaders. So it's like he's trying to find the right cult for him.
I think we were lucky to grow up in the last generation that doesn't have everything stupid they say recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're lucky that way. Oh, another thing about Deadshot. So, like I was saying about him, he loves his daughter. That's his main motivation.
Mm-hmm.
Does he love Phil Jackson more? I think he's the coach for the Lakers, right?
Yeah. He talks
He
way
mentions
more.
Phil Jackson like 3 times in the movie, and I think he only mentions his daughter like twice.
Yeah.
That may be an exaggeration.
No, wait a second. They do go back to his daughter there at the end of the movie, so it ties it with Phil Jackson. But just like rapid succession, just Phil Jackson, Phil Jackson, Phil Jackson. Like he goes on a Phil Jackson tirade in the middle of the movie.
It's like he read Phil Jackson's book in prison, and maybe that's the only book he read in the 2 weeks since he transferred to Belle Rev or whatever.
I could totally see
and it's
prison
really in his
guard
mind.
only letting him read that one book.
What if it's a really bad book? We need to look this up.
What if he's not a Lakers fan?
I'd be surprised. He seems to really like Phil Jackson.
Yeah, but if that was the only thing he could read, still read it.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I need to bring my notes closer, I think, because I'm tempted to grab the beer right next to it that we're not sponsored by.
Yes.
Yet.
Not yet.
What type of award did this win?
Yes.
Alright, so this is probably the part of this conversation where I just want to rapid fire list off things that bothered me. Slipknot, otherwise known as John Redshirt, John Redcorn. I think it's really unfortunate that that actor, I forget his name at the moment, he gets a role in this big movie just to be killed off immediately, but I think we all knew that going into it, and forgot to mention, this is a spoiler discussion. Everybody gets an intro but him and Katana.
Yeah, like he just hops out of a black SUV and they say, Slipknot, the man who can get into anywhere. And then he just like walks over and stands in a line with them.
Yeah. And by the way, I learned something about 15 minutes before we recorded this. I want to see your live reaction to this.
All right.
They were going to make him a serial rapist.
Oh my fucking god! What the hell?
I'm glad they cut that roll down. Maybe that's why we don't see his rap sheet in the beginning.
Oh, his rape sheet?
His rape sheet, yes. So yeah. Let's move away from that point, I think. Let's just let that one sit in the air, never to be touched again.
Yeah,
Unlike
let's not leave a
Golden
pregnant
Girls.
pause there.
No pregnant pause.
No pregnant pause with rape sheet.
Anyway, so I think we all knew watching the movie that he was going to be the first to go because he's not in a lot of the trailer footage, and come on, they didn't give him an intro. I mean, he's Ensign Ricky. at
Yeah.
that point, right?
You can't tell, but he is totally wearing just a red shirt underneath his cool gear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
And I feel like if Donkey was watching this movie, he'd have said, a grappling hook. This movie gets a 10 out of 10. And then it's
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. And then as soon as they blow his head off, it's like 5 out of 5.
Do you think they left his body sitting on that rope?
Oh, they had to have. There's nobody left in this city, and they aren't going to stop their mission just to take his dead ass down.
Speaking of the mission, okay, so my problem with this is that they have a superhuman or metahuman takedown team, and their mission is to rescue a VIP, not to try to stop the metahuman threat. And to further make this worse, the VIP is Amanda Waller.
But that totally makes sense to me, that Amanda Waller would put herself before everyone else in the world.
Maybe she realizes she's the only thing that will save the world at some point, or she's so selfish. Because Amanda Waller's
she's-
always been characterized as a person that puts the interest of the United States above all else. And I totally believe that. I believe
Yeah.
she's the Nick Fury of this world.
Yeah.
She's going to do what's best for everyone, and either she had her ass saved by the Suicide Squad because she realized she needed to be alive to save the world at some point later on, if not today, or she's completely selfish and not the Nick Fury of this world.
I'd like to believe that she's just a little bit more complex than it being either one of those things.
She's just always been characterized as being the person that would save the world and who could absolutely be trusted. And by the way, if they ever make her betray the United States in these movies, you've completely lost me.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra. Let's talk about some of the more stupid things in this movie.
All right. Now, you
Oh.
talked about how Deadshot seemed to like his daughter less than Phil Jackson.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Let's talk about his fantasy that Enchantress gave him. It wasn't that he was with his daughter and they were happy. It's that he shot Batman. He wanted that more than to be with his daughter and be happy.
You are completely right. I forgot about that. His fantasy was that he killed Batman
Yeah.
and that his daughter wasn't there.
That his daughter wasn't there. Just his fantasy involved him being so far away from his daughter
Well,
and having gunned down Batman in an alleyway.
I would
Joe
like to-
Chill to Batman's
like Joe
parents.
Chill.
Yeah, you
Don't say Joker Chill. That's only Batman '89.
Sorry, there's a little something in my throat made it sound like Joker instead of Joe.
I'm editing this out.
Yeah, good.
No, but anyway, so I think him wanting to shoot Batman and his daughter not being there is just him not wanting his daughter there for that.
He didn't want to get caught.
He didn't want his daughter there for
Yeah.
that. He
He
can
definitely
both
didn't.
be a murderer and love the fact that he would be the guy to take down Batman and also be a family man. Those aren't
Yeah.
separate.
Yeah, it's just he wanted that more.
I mean, it's a more complex characterization than we usually get from movie villains. Like Joker from The Dark Knight, as much as I love that character, what was his motivation other than to watch the world burn? He didn't have a family to get home to, no. And I'm not saying he needed that. Certainly, we don't need to try to add more shit onto the Joker like this movie tried.
I think really the only motivation that the Joker shows is
is
with
to
Harvey
be
Dent.
Scarface.
No, it's
Oh,
it's
you're
only-
talking about Dark Knight still.
Yeah, in Dark Knight, the Joker's only motivation that comes across is in those brief few minutes whenever he's with Harvey Dent. And his only motivation was to show the world that anyone could be like him.
Their version of Killing Joke.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
he only had 2 minutes of motivation in that entire movie. But I still loved the entire performance.
yes, yeah. Oh, you can't say anything bad about that. Although
God,
maybe
no.
Jared Leto could say something bad about that because he said that if he had died, more of him would have been on screen in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of Jared Leto, Joker, I kind of think that when they were going into this movie, they were making a movie about them trying to chase down the Joker and his
Yeah.
goons. And I kind of think all the soldiers in the movie, they were visually changed to be big-headed monster things instead of panda-headed and other costumed soldiers.
No, I don't think that they were actually
Maybe.
digitally changed. I do think
Oh
that they
well,
were.
let's move on though.
I think they were added in with the new villain, if there was a
If
new villain.
if there's a new villain, my theory going into this is that Joker was supposed to be the big bad. And we were supposed to get a lot of Joker. I mean, everybody on set was complaining about having to work with him for so much, and he's in 7 minutes of the final movie. So I think whenever they changed the tone or whatever they did with those reshoots, They changed the villain to Enchantress, which came out of nowhere, by the way.
Yeah. Completely unexpected.
That was not expected whatsoever. And her CG in her parts of the movie is really bad.
It did look a little bit last minute, like they did that
Yeah.
whenever they were doing reshoots.
Yeah, so her CG looks bad. It's not the story we were shown in the trailers. I think they changed it away from Jared Leto's X-rated Joker show into, oh, here's a new villain for changing things up.
And also, it would make sense for Harley Quinn to be there on this team chasing down Joker because she knows Joker.
That is my point I wanted to bring up. Thank you for getting into that.
Good segue, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, why is Harley Quinn in this movie? What does she do better than a soldier? And I mean, other than have script armor, we need to discuss script armor.
Oh my god, so much script armor.
She has a 6-shooter and a baseball bat. Even though she has the mallet earlier on, and that's what everybody knows her for, whatever. Mm-hmm. But anyway, she has a bat and a gun, a 6-shooter. And what does she do exactly better than a soldier would? Kind of wondering. So I think maybe her inclusion in the movie was because it was supposed to be a Joker-centric film.
Yeah.
Which I would like to point out is probably worse if that is what we're supposed to get, because of course she would just immediately turn tail.
But she would at least get them there. And she's got a tracker in that explosive chip.
I'm sorry. Do you think she's like the baby T-Rex in Jurassic Park 3, where like, oh, it doesn't.
Oh, it's Jurassic Park 2.
Or whatever it was. Like, oh, let's carry the baby T-Rex and the mother will come no matter what the situation. The mother being Joker, which adds a whole new layer of fucked up to his character.
Yeah.
Joker the mother.
But also that would make sense why Joker pushes Harley Quinn out of the helicopter too, is if he found out that they were following her to get to him.
That's another thing that's total speculation, is that in the final cut, Joker pushes her out of the helicopter to save her life when they're about to crash. When rumor has it, that's the Joker pushing her out of the helicopter to kill her.
Yeah.
Which I think is
just a lot less
wonderful. That's wonderful.
That's so romantic.
Well, see, the thing is, I personally have a problem with the characterization of their relationship as the awesome relationship. Like, oh, they're so devoted to each other. They love each other so much. I actually saw a picture on Facebook, and I'll put it here if I can find it.
I was just thinking about that.
Where the Joker is actually like carving something into her face. And this was used as a serious post on Facebook saying, I wish I had love like this.
No, it was like, these star signs show true devotion.
Oh yes, these star signs show true devotion. I was like, is this for real? Is this a parody? Because that is fucking terrible. He's like carving something into her face, and this is supposed to be
like true
really
love.
Romantic. Oh yeah, true love. And that's the big problem with Harley Quinn and Joker. And a lot of people are having problems with this in recent years, so I'm proud of those people who see that for what it is. I mean, when Harley Quinn was made for Batman the Animated Series, it was sort of just comic relief that she was like frustrated the Joker didn't want to have anything to do with her. And I would say that's cartoonish girlfriend neglect, and that was perfectly fine for that show. However, as things changed and went on, in the comics she was like mutilated by her. In the movie, she's encouraged to jump into a vat of bleach.
Ace Chemicals. Just generic Ace Chemicals. The same stuff that made the Joker Joker.
It's the card factory or whatever it's supposed to be.
It's a place next to the card factory. Yeah.
I kind of always wonder how anybody wanted to break into a card factory, though. Like, what kind of money could a card factory possibly have?
I don't know. I'm assuming that it had to be Bicycle or one of those really huge manufacturers that has a deal with every casino in the world.
Maybe so. But anyway, so that relationship just got really toxic over time in comics, and I think that's intentional on the artists and writers' parts to try to say, guys, this is fucked up. Why would you like this? And people are just getting more and more into it because, like, oh, they're carving their names into each other. Well, most of the Joker into Harley, and she just does whatever he says.
And she just says,
she's his constant fall guy.
Yeah.
It's so romantic that she would live for him. It's just terrible, and I think they were trying to give us that in the movie, and we just ended up getting the sappy romantic version instead.
I'm hoping that there's just like nothing but comments below this video of people defending that relationship.
And I will delete you.
Oh, I'm hoping that there's somebody that's like, that inspired my relationship. It's like, oh my god, I'm gonna call the fucking cops on you.
Like what? Did you look up the Pinhead as your father figure / boyfriend?
We have such secrets to show you.
Just turn your head. That's characterization.
Yeah. Hey, how long until we talk about things that we liked about the movie?
Oh, the movie was fun to watch. Yeah, the action was pretty good. I especially like that part where they're having the shootout on the street, and it ends with the crescendo building up to the moment where Deadshot gets on top of that car, just starts
Mowing down guys.
mowing them down like they're coming faster than they were before somehow, and he's just gunning them down with his arm guns
all alone.
And he
every
just
soldier
takes them
just
down.
looks on in awe.
Yeah, they're all just looking at him because that is the most badass thing they've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And I would agree, that's pretty damn badass. That was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That becomes every one of those guys' favorite war stories when they see one guy take on an entire battalion of like superhuman mutated potato heads.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I am calling them potato heads because their heads are lumpy and covered in eyes. Just so much sense. Black potato heads.
Very careful what you say there.
Sorry, African American potato heads.
Thank you. So, I kind of wanted to talk about some of the little things that we thought were just kind of funny now.
All right, little things that I think are kind of funny and I really did like. Big one, huge one for me. Captain Boomerang. He keeps leaving and coming back, which
He says this,
perfect.
but I think he's being a little bit liberal. That like,
All right.
how many
All right.
times does he leave and come back?
So the first time he leaves and comes back is, well, he tries to leave at least. Him and
When-
Slipknot
Oh
try
yeah,
to
when they
escape.
try to escape.
Yeah, they try to escape early on. And they've got him pinned against a wall. He catches his boomerang and all that. But anyways, he tries to leave, and then he's back with the group. Then later on, whenever they're in that shootout that you love so much with Deadshot,
Yeah.
he just tries to bolt as soon as that's going on. And he gets cornered in an alley by a couple of potato heads. He mows them down with his boomerangs somehow. And then
Australian superpower.
yeah. I come from a country where everything's trying to kill me. That Australian accent evolved very quickly.
You know, I take issue with that. I've known Australian people.
Mm-hmm.
His accent was a little bit off, and also he's a racist caricature of an Australian. His
Yes.
name is Jack Harkness, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, Harkness, the
He
most
uses-
Australian name possible. He uses boomerangs.
Boomerangs.
And also he's a prisoner, so that's paying homage to their,
And
their
by the-
forefathers.
And by the way, the assertion that he's robbed every bank in Australia at least once is comical.
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
There's a large number of banks in Australia because they're, they're a first world country.
Oh, and another thing I actually like is that the Flash seems to be his nemesis, which could
Yes.
be cool because maybe he'll come back in the Flash movie, which would be interesting.
And also that does.
Although, how in the
that
world
does, of
does
course-
how in the world does Captain Boomerang fight against the Flash and win?
I mean,
How does anybody fight against a speedster and win?
well, by outthinking them. That's why you got to remember the
Having a
return.
hostage. That's what the Joker does.
Yeah,
for
the
everything.
return trajectory of the boomerangs. You just gotta like plan
Oh,
on the Flash corner.
you're planning on a head-to-head fight.
Yeah.
I'm planning on like, oh, well, you better go save that little girl that I've propped up on a cliff on some koalas.
Some koalas.
Those koalas are going to get hungry, and when they get to the top of that tree, she'll fall to her death.
The only way those koalas get to eat is if they can chew through these ropes that are holding her up, and then they can finally get to that
Yes.
sweet, sweet eucalyptus.
Eucalyptus ropes are holding her onto the tree. You better hurry.
Yeah. Anyways, so he takes down those potato heads, and then he's back with the group again. But then, the third time, the time where he actually gets to leave, because he's been so unsuccessful up to this point, is whenever they go into the bar, and Rick Flag smashes his smartphone
Yeah.
and says, all y'all are free to leave. He just bolts immediately. He's gone.
I want that phone, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, just mounted on the wrist, flexible. I want it.
Yeah, so he just bolts right then. But he's back as soon as... he's the first one back, actually, whenever Harley walks out and says, y'all are pussies, pretty much. Just, y'all can join me if you want.
Own that shit.
Own that shit.
Own that boomerang nature of your... own your boomerang mutation.
Yeah.
He's a mutant boomerang. He started out as a boomerang, became a human.
Yeah. This... He started out as the most...
Just wait till the Solo movie, we'll see that.
Yeah, that'll be... No, wait. It'll be something kind of like in The Fly. They just put him and a boomerang in a teleporter.
It's just a longer gestation period. Mm-hmm. For him to turn into a wooden actor.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Eventually they'll tell him to turn it down. Oh, speaking of wooden acting, and I think intentionally on this part.
Will Smith?
No. Amanda Waller.
Oh, okay.
The excellent Ms. Davis.
Yes.
As Amanda Waller. Viola Davis, I believe.
Yes, that's correct.
She is perfect for this role. I can't really think of anybody better, except for maybe, I forget her name from The Wire. But man, Viola Davis is perfect.
Watch The Wire.
You're supposed to say again. You can't have not watched The Wire.
I mean, I really want to watch The Wire again. I've only watched it through 50 times.
Anyway, Amanda Waller. She is very well played by Viola Davis. And probably the best surprise in the movie for me was that the VIP they were rescuing was her.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That is so good. Actually,
really
I was genuinely surprised by that. In a good way.
There's so many things I have to say about that scene, though.
How they demonstrate that she's a hard ass by her killing off the people that were working with her.
Now, it could be that, or it could be the fact that she was using her anti-metahuman team to rescue her instead of taking down this powerful, world-threatening metahuman. So she killed all of the government witnesses to that, which is, frankly, my opinion of what that was exactly. Because, really, she couldn't trust those 4 or 5 people that she gunned down in cold blood.
I think she murdered 7 people just because they didn't have clearance.
She says it's because they didn't have clearance.
Yeah.
It's totally because she was afraid they were going to rat on her. For her abusing her power and using her metahuman team to rescue her instead of rescuing the world.
I kind of think that after they rescued her, and by the way, I say this is a weakness of the movie, that their mission was to rescue her rather than to actually try to stop the threat. But I think once they rescued her, she was going to say, okay, that helicopter's not coming. Go stop that threat or die trying. And we just didn't get to see that because her helicopter crash. Oh, let's talk about helicopter crashes.
Oh my god, there's so many helicopter crashes in the movie.
There are 3 helicopter crashes in this movie, and the important characters survive every time.
Yeah, like not even a scratch on them.
First of all, the squad, their helicopter gets shot out of the air.
And they don't even like give you enough time for it to be a tense moment. It's just like, the helicopter's falling. It's tumbling on the ground. They all walk out unscathed. And maybe Rick Flag says assets are secure.
Maybe a few soldiers died in that, but they don't really say that any died, so I'm going to say none died. And then...
and there's plenty of soldiers shooting down potato heads later.
Yeah, and then later on, well, there's a second helicopter.
Oh, yeah. There were 2 helicopters.
But anyway, later on, the Joker and his helicopter, that gets shot down, pushes out Harley, and you think she's the only survivor in that crash, and then later on we find out at least the Joker survived. And then Amanda Waller's helicopter crashes, gets swiped out of the air by Enchantress's brother. Enchantor, I'm going to call him.
Enchant bro.
Enchant bro.
Bro Chantress. I still want a feminine.
Yeah, I was about to bring up that the S on the end implies femininity, but yeah, let's go Bro Chantress.
Bro Chantress.
Alright.
I really wanted to shotgun this one just for the camera. Just maintain eye contact. Shotgun.
Mm-hmm. I'll grab a nail.
Well, it's too late. I've already opened the top.
You can do it, man. You can do it.
All right, yeah.
No,
I know
anyway,
you believe in me.
I believe in you, bro. Believe in your brother. Anyway.
Yeah, man. I believe in you.
Oh, but anyway.
Please edit that out.
You and your racist Australian accent. It's as good as his was in the movie.
Osmakin. So much Jamaican.
Osmakin?
Osmakin.
We'll just call that an Anzac accent. Australia, New Zealand. Anyway, because Jamaica's part of that.
I don't think it is.
It is. Anyway, so Amanda Waller getting her ass saved. Oh, that's right. That helicopter crashed, and she was the only survivor.
Yes.
All the soldiers around her died, but she was just fine.
Yeah, not only was she just fine, she unbuckled, grabbed an M16 from the guy who died right next to her, and started mowing down baddies. Just through the window. We already talked about all three crashes.
And how Amanda Waller wasn't killed by Enchantress.
Yeah,
we mentioned that.
We were really mostly just talking about Enchantress there.
By the way, Enchantress, I was really hoping she was going to be a very interesting character of the squad, but it turns out she's going to be the villain for this movie.
So quickly.
And
she turned so quickly.
Very quickly. Although we do get the evil magical girl transformation.
Yes. Oh my god, I fucking love that. We need more of that in movies.
Amazing.
Yes.
I see. Whenever I saw that in a preview video, I started screaming and yelling because, man, that was the coolest transformation I'd ever seen. We need more of that, and unfortunately, Enchantress is dead, and her brother, so we're never going to get this shit.
Yeah, Enchantress and Brochantress are both dead, and I really just loved that first transformation they show so much.
Yeah.
Where you see Enchantress's hand come up through the fingers of whatever the fuck the regular character's name is.
Luna Moon.
Luna Moon?
Or is it June Moon?
June. It's June.
June Moon.
June Moon. So you see Enchantress's fingers come up through June Moon's fingers in her hand, and it just turns over, and suddenly it's just Enchantress's arm.
Yeah.
It's such a well thought out, perfect transformation. Yeah. It's the best part to show, because I fucking love that.
Like, I'd also like to think that maybe that only works for screen because, like, the fingers come up from the hand and the arm turns over, and all of a sudden she's replaced with Enchantress, and I'm like, what did everybody else in that room see?
I'm really curious how the rest of that looked, where it was just like Luna Moon looking at her hand maybe, and then suddenly just flash Enchantress. Just like, and skin goes all dirty and gray, and I'm suddenly wearing the Enchantress headdress, and my tits are kinda out.
Kinda. Not enough to make it more than PG-13.
Yeah.
But anyway, awesome transformation. I think Sailor Moon would be jealous.
Yes.
If she was evil. We got the Queen Beryl transformation.
Quick.
Oh Lord, what was it?
Oh, another thing, small note that I kind of liked, but that was totally more just, we're racist against Australians. Every time you see Captain Boomerang in an establishing shot, he's either drinking a beer or opening a beer.
You may be exaggerating a little bit there, but he is often drinking a beer everywhere.
Yeah, he drinks the entire mission, and I guess like maybe he had a cold six-pack on him whenever he got caught, because he just opens up the "we've taken your stuff" box.
Yeah, like when they get there,
re-outfit yourself, and it's just like, oh, six-pack of Guinness. Or something else, because Foster's is not Australian, despite what their marketing says.
Let's talk about possible dark endings to this movie.
Oh.
One I thought of.
Alright.
So the Suicide Squad, they sacrificed their lives to stop the Enchantress in vain.
Yeah.
And they just die. Slaughtered like pigs. And the world is about to end when all of a sudden Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Cyborg, and Aqua whatever show up. And they stop the Enchantress easily.
Yeah. Aquaman in a landlocked area.
Aquaman in a landlocked area, he's able to summon crawdads or whatever out of the mud.
No, he doesn't even do that. He's just like, I'm still strong.
Point is, I kind of want there to be an alternate ending where it's the Mist of superhero movies.
Yes.
Where everybody dies
except for one
reason.
Guy.
Yeah, except for, let's say, Deadshot.
Deadshot.
Everybody dies except for Deadshot. He's like, oh my god, why? What happened?
Deadshot puts everyone out of his mercy, and then he's just thinking, soon, out of their mercy, sorry.
Misery.
Yeah. Deadshot shows mercy, puts everyone out of their misery. Sorry. And then, as he's like rolling in a ball, waiting for Enchantress to just kill him, which she wouldn't. She just wants him to suffer because that's what supervillains do. And then all of a sudden, like, bat smoke bomb. She's choking on fumes. And then Aquaman steps in and stabs her with a trident. And then the Flash just punches a shitload of fists at her. But it's all the same fist, because, Flash. And Wonder Woman comes in and lassos her. And Superman just laser eyes her to death. Because, fuck it.
Yeah, because why not?
She's a world-ending threat.
But yeah,
She deserves the same treatment as Zod. Snap her neck.
But yeah, I wanted there to be an alternate ending where everybody dies in vain just for the Justice League to show up and
then
solve the problems effortlessly.
And then
The
Deadshot.
midst of superhero movies.
And then Deadshot has survivor's guilt.
Oh, that'd be something we want to see. Yes. That's great for movies.
After credits, survivor's guilt. Where he's just like changed, talking to his daughter, helping her with math problems.
I like that, by the way. That was,
Yeah.
It was nice. I love the scene where we get to see him actually interacting with his daughter. And I guess once a month he gets to visit, and he's helping her with homework. That's what a dad should do, and that's what he wants to do, and that's awesome.
Quick note, holy crap, Amanda Waller folled through with her
Yes.
with her visitation rights for Deadshot? What?
She actually did let that happen. I mean, what does it hurt her? He's not going to try to escape.
Everybody but Captain Boomerang played nice and asked for something, and they got it.
Another alternate ending.
Another alternate ending.
If they made the version of Suicide Squad that I wanted them to make, that I thought they would make, and if Jared Leto had his say, they probably would have toned up a bit more. All right, Killer Croc. He asked for BET, he gets it. I think.
Fucking God. BET. He asked for BET. So I'm guessing they got him just like the basic package that came with BET. Like the lowest priced one that had BET.
All right, I think if they wanted to tone this up to rated R, he just said, "I want the internet."
I want the internet.
And in that last scene where they show him watching BET, they show in a sponsored scene Pornhub. He's watching Pornhub.
Yeah.
Basically watching the same scene he saw on BET though.
Yeah. Now, also, as a quick note, I really kind of wanted a slight tweak where Captain Boomerang said, "I also want cable," and they just put a splitter on the output for Killer Croc's cable box. So
So he
Captain
just gets
Boomerang,
whatever he's watching.
Captain Boomerang just had to sit through whatever Killer Croc is watching. So BET all day.
Another thing I read 15 minutes before we started recording is that David Ayer says this is the director's cut. There will not be another cut of this movie.
Aww.
Which I'm disappointed by because I want to see the X-rated Joker movie that Jared Leto promised.
Yeah, I want to see the one that
What
has
was he
Jared.
thinking?
All right, Jared Leto was so crazy on set for just those 7 minutes of screen time that we got.
There must be more.
That Will Smith did not invite him to the rap party out of fear of him stealing his family photos and eating them.
This is real. He said that he would do this. He also called him an ass on TV.
Yeah, but you don't get that performance off screen without more than 7 minutes of actual shooting. And I really, really desperately want to see the Joker villain movie version of this movie that they shot but didn't give us because it was too dark.
Also, perhaps, Jared Leto didn't get the memo. This is a PG-13 movie. We're not doing an R-rated cut.
Oh, no. They only did the R-rated cut because...
He said that he was doing an R-rated to X-rated Joker movie.
Yeah.
And that I guess he thought they were going to cut that down to PG-13 somehow.
All right. Now, as a quick note, they did cut it down to PG-13 in hopes that it would play better with foreign markets such as China, and specifically China, actually.
Yeah.
But China decided that they weren't going to play it or import it at all, so they cut it down for absolutely no reason.
It would have played pretty well in American audiences at rated R. I mean, Deadpool's proof that you can do an R-rated superhero movie and be completely irreverent.
Yeah.
And not take yourself seriously. And
Punisher
you can still
Warzone
do
is
very
also-
well. Punisher Warzone is probably the best example of doing that very well. Although
Punisher
that's the
Warzone
best-
is amazing
That's
for
the-
so many reasons.
That's the best B movie ever made.
Yes.
Was there anything else that you want to talk about with this movie?
All right, something that I was kind of weirded out by while we're talking about Killer Croc getting BET. So, Killer Croc, whenever he first takes off his like hoodie, I was really surprised because like his head is so big, and then I realized, oh, I've got it. He's got the body of a guy who took steroids, but then only did cardio.
He looks like one of the Florida white trash guys you see, except with a giant head and shoulders.
So if you've watched any episode of Cops that takes place in Florida,
yes,
so that means
you will
any
see
episode
Killer Croc.
of Cops, you'll see Killer Croc except with a smaller head.
Yes. He has like the white trash skinny body.
Except he's played by Common, right?
No. Don't make me say the name of the actor. I forget his name, and I
Yeah,
don't
who
want
plays
to say.
Killer Croc? I just saw Common in the credits. I was like, who the fuck was Common in this? Was he Killer Croc? Oh God, was he Killer Croc?
He was not played by Common.
Okay, thank God, because I
Okay,
really should have looked into that.
I'm gonna look it up. So just a second.
I was shocked to see Common's name in the credits because I didn't know who the fuck Common played.
Common played a guy named Monster T. Who the fuck was that in the movie?
Oh God, no.
Wait, was he the mobster?
Yeah.
Oh!
Oh fucking hell! How did I not notice that was Common?
Oh, okay. He played a mobster.
Common.
You got a bad bitch there, Joker.
I completely didn't notice that Common was the chick that Harley Quinn was trying to fuck in front of Joker.
He made a mistake, by the way.
Yeah.
That's his only role in this universe, by the way, because he played a mobster that gets immediately killed.
Yeah.
Forgive me, sir, if I get your name wrong. I loved your work on Lost. You were awesome as Mr. Echo. Adewale Ekunwe Agbahe. You were awesome as Killer Croc. It takes a lot of great chops as an actor to work under all of that latex and all of that makeup to get your point across and to play an awesome character. And you did it right there. You did it.
It's so hard to emote under all that makeup, and you did it.
We might have hit the point where we discussed pretty much everything about this movie.
I think there's still plenty.
But maybe we'll leave that to another time. I don't know.
Maybe. Or we could go rapid fire and just look at our crib notes.
Okay, so let's check our notes real quick.
Croc's Bane moment. You merely adopted the underground. I was born in it.
Okay, alright, so something I wanted to see in the R-rated cut, or possibly X-rated cut of this movie, is the guard that gives Harley Quinn the phone. He gets
killed?
He gets killed on the spot for doing that. Like firing squad style for giving her a phone.
Alright, now there's something that I do really like. They use a flashback of a scene we were shown before, but they do it right by showing us more information, and it does change the way it plays, and it contributes to the overall story of the movie. You know, with the Enchantress going into the subway with the bomb, they show what their plan really was to take out Brochantress, but then they actually do show Enchantress betraying them and starting up the bomb only for Rick Flag to immediately turn it off, and then joining them.
You know what we haven't discussed yet? We have not discussed how awesome a character Diablo is. We haven't brought that up.
We haven't said the name Diablo at this point. It's too late in this video for us to have not said Diablo.
Okay, we just threw the notes down because we have to discuss Diablo.
Yes.
And that is the end of our discussion. We have to talk about Diablo.
He's the most human character, despite the fact
really
that he's
is.
an Aztec god.
Yes. He was an extremely sympathetic character. He accidentally, or purposefully, in the heat of the moment, murdered his wife and children.
I'm going to call that accidentally. And that changed him as a person. Whenever he finally comes to terms with the fact that he's killed every person who he actually loves, he becomes a more peaceful man and decides that he can't do that ever again. And you see that whenever they're showing non-flashback scenes of him. He's changed. He knows that he doesn't want to hurt people anymore. And just, bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia. Now, I love his character because he is the repentant murderer.
Yeah.
He is the man who realized what he has been doing wrong.
That's
after
a
he
real
started.
life character.
He is so fully realized, and I love the scenes where he's at his home with his family, and you see this guy who's covered in tattoos, clearly a horrible gangbanger, and he's a family man.
Yes.
That's something you don't ever see when you see a character that looks like him on screen. Never.
They never want to show you that person because it gives them too much dimension. And it's very conflicting for regular people to see somebody who's so bad also have a life.
And a family. And something to care about, something to love. Like, everybody likes to make the gangbanger a one-dimensional character that just cares about getting money or robbing people or having fun or whatever. And they made him a family man. And they made him in the prison yard, when he kills all those people, he's angry. He is angry at the person that he has become, so he murders all those people in the yard.
Yeah, because he's the most human, most relatable character in the entire movie. He's the person that you see the most of yourself in.
Yes.
And he's him. He's a tattooed gangbanger with a shaved head and tattoos that look like a skull on his face. He's the most abstract, far from human looking person aside from Killer Croc in the entire movie, and he's the person that you're going to relate to the most.
Absolutely.
You will see the most human in him of any character in the entire movie, and I love that.
Yeah, his character is actually very awesome. I associate with him most in the movie, and he is just so well played. And I just love the progression we get in the movie from him. Like, we see him as the unrepentant gangbanger before his family dies, and then after, I assume this is after he's accidentally killed his family, he's in prison and he kills all the guys, he's very angry. He hates the person that he is. And by the time we see him in the tank at the beginning of the movie, he is a pacifist.
Yeah.
And he...
So you see his progression from the man who was just all about the money and the power and loving the people that he loved. You see him turn the woman he loves into ash. You see him as a changed man. He's gone through the distress of having done that. He's killed a lot of people in anguish in the prison yard, yes, but you see his regret, his remorse. He is changed. He's a different person. He wants to do no harm. He realizes he's too powerful and that he can do no good.
Yeah.
And he feels defeated. And that might actually be the best part of this movie, is his portrayal.
Yeah. Yeah. Diablo's character in the movie was the highlight for me. Alright, so we've discussed a lot with the movie. These are just our initial thoughts. This is being recorded the Wednesday after the movie came out, so we've had a little bit of time to think about this. And hell, I'm sure if we think about it more, we'll think of more things to talk about. But until then, this has been It's Just Called Two Brothers. I'm Kurman Kuro.
I'm Conrad Hilton.
Have a great day.